What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another edition of On the Road to Victory. I am your host, Jimmy Smith, and I hope you're all having yourselves a fantastic day. But we're here to talk a little bit about that money. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We know now with all of the cap hits in place, we talked about Jordan Mailata the other day. We talked about his restructure, how it meant more toward the future, not so much now, but talked about all those things, trying to keep you up to date with all of these things. But there have been a lot of questions from you guys. Now, I've answered most of these, but I thought, you know what? Let's put it all together, baby. So we've got a big one, a good one here for you today. So I hope you all enjoy this information. I'm going to take a look at the Eagles. We'll look at all of their current and future draft picks. We'll look at obviously, the draft pick cap hits is something that people get confused about. We'll talk about that, the notable cap hits from the Eagles, and then, of course, the estimated cap space. Talk about the ammo first, right? Then we'll take a look at 12 of the top guys out there that are on the trade block. Some big name guys that I know you all want to know about. Some of them don't really think are going to happen, but keep getting these questions. So I thought, well, let's just bag them all. So appreciate each and every one of you taking the time today. Have any questions, any comments about whatever it may be, please feel free. I'm going to be explaining some things. So if I'm not making sense, whatever, please feel free to comment down below. You're watching live, watching later, whenever it may be. William, hope you're having a great day, my man. Appreciate you tuning in. Raymond, my dude. Yo, trying to make that happen plenty of times and many a times this damn off season. So I hope to see you then. That I always tell people that's one of the coolest moments of my life. I'm not even lying to you, Raymond. Being with Lane Johnson's girlfriend, his trainer, walking through a closed practice, and then I hear on the road to victory, and they're like, what the hell? Bro, you gave me some huge bonus points there, Raymond. So appreciate you, dude. Really looking forward to hopefully seeing you again throughout this next season. Let's go. But I appreciate you tuning in, my man. Hope you are doing well. My man Drew in here. Let's go. Hope you guys are ready for some information. Drew, my dude, hope you're doing well. Hope the baby and the family are doing well. Congrats again to you. But let's jump right into this bad boy and talk about what the Eagles have going on, where Howie has us right now. And I've talked about this. We talked about how low Jalen Hurts cap hits were going to be. We talked about how much money we would still have. Now, as I always say, keep in mind, I put estimated because a lot of these numbers, I'll tell you which ones are exact, which ones could change, but just keep that kind of stuff in mind. But we do know all of the notable cap hits for the Eagles. We know the draft pick cap hits. So we're going to look at all that stuff. So let's get it going, baby. Now, we'll start it off with these notable cap hits. So this is everyone that is restructured, been extended, re-signed. Then you see the guys that have just signed, all of them under $2 million. Oh, yeah, you love to see that. So that's the cap hits. We don't care about the guaranteed money, all that other stuff. That is not something I want to confuse you with. What fans need to worry about is the cap, and that's all I try to explain. And really, it's up to the media to get that information out, but I guess they just don't care about understanding it, so I'll do my best. So here you see all of those cap hits. Now, if you look it up, it's going to say about 20, but it doesn't have Jalen Hurts' new cap hit registered in there yet. So I did the math. You can see 18.7 million is the current cap space for the Eagles. Now, one thing people always want to talk about is those draft pick cap hits. So you're going to hear, well, the Eagles need about 8 to 10 million here, and you're going to spend half of that. No, that is not correct. So let's break this down. One of the things I talked about in that, there is a show literally dedicated to just the draft pick cap hits if you want to go in for more detail, but try to explain it as quickly as I can. But everybody takes all of the draft picks. They calculate all of theirs, and then they subtract it from the salary cap. That is not how it's done. I saw it earlier today. That is not how it's done. Saw something yesterday. I really appreciate you guys trying to take my work, but if you're going to, please understand what I'm saying and, preach it back correctly, because you got people very confused. So let's look at these draft pick cap hits. Let's explain how this actually works and how much money we actually need. So it's only the top 3 picks that we currently are going to have affecting our cap. Now, with that, you see that everybody has to be over like 950,000 for them to be able to affect the salary cap. That 4th pick of ours in the 3rd round, that is not going to do that. So it doesn't count against the cap. The 3 that do, you're not subtracting from the salary cap. What you're doing is replacing them. with the bottom 3 cap hits on the Eagles roster. And right now, that's where it's at. So this could change a little bit there, dependent on what the bottom 3 cap hits are, what you're subtracting. But you're looking at $4.6 million. And the only thing that would change is maybe be around 4.5, 4.8, you know what I mean? Like that kind of range. So this is what you need, under $5 million for the draft picks. That's what you're going to need. They're going to cost 7.4, but it's really only 4.6 that you're taking off of the salary cap. So let me know if you understand that. I explained this to someone yesterday. The salary cap consists of the top 51 cap hits. That's what it's made up of. So when you sign someone, they're just replacing whoever that bottom guy is if their cap hit's higher than the 51st person. So that's why I took the bottom 3, so 51, 50, and 49, and replace them with those 3 draft picks. That's that number you saw there. So now you see our current cap space. You see the draft pick cap hits. So all you're doing is taking the draft pick cap hits, and you are subtracting them from that 18.7. So the Eagles will have over 14.1 million estimated cap space there. That's a lot of ammo there, ladies and gentlemen. So you sign all your picks. You know that the Eagles, we like to keep around, 3 to 5 mil throughout the season doing things, and sometimes a little bit more, but we can do whatever we want. So I've been trying to get that across. People, now that it hurts, now we can. It's like, no, dude, we've been able to, and that's why I've been breaking it down. And we did this last year with the A.J. Brown stuff, but it's my pleasure to do this. But if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. But you saw all those numbers there for the cap space. Now let's take a look at the ammo we have to actually trade. So, there are players that could be added in. I know Quez Watkins is always a name people want to throw in. So you could throw in whoever you want, but let's take a look. The Eagles only have 6 picks. Oh, is that so? Well, we have 26 in the next 3 years. So do not think that Howie cannot package some of these things up. He's got 12 next year. So he could happily be moving up, moving back. So many things could go down. We could take 8 picks this year. We might only take 5, maybe 4. So you never know with Howie, but that is the fun of being an Eagles fan. And you see 4 picks in the top 94. Oh, hell yeah. So to me, I think that the Eagles, are going to make some big moves here. Now, whether that be to acquire someone in the draft or to go out and get a veteran player, that is to be seen. So what I want to do here is go through all of the names you've been throwing at me. We're going to look at 12 of these guys. We're just going to look at the contracts to show you their stats, their bio, all that stuff that I usually do. And a lot of these guys have individual videos. If you go to the playlist, Show Me the Money, you can go check that out. But I want to show you these guys and tell you whether or not it's possible. So that way, this isn't about what, I'll tell you if I feel they should do it, but it's your opinion. And if you like someone, you want the Eagles to trade for them, at least I can give you the information that they can or cannot. So let's get this bad boy rolling. And I'm going to start it off with offense because I don't really feel like anything's going to happen there, but there are some names that you guys keep throwing at me. So we're going to talk about them. My man, King DV in the building. Let's go. Hope you're doing well, my dude. Appreciate you tuning in. We're jumping through these numbers, man, but now we're going to go through a lot. This was a lot of numbers for me today. I'm not going to lie to you. So we're going to jump into this. Let's start off with the offense. And one of the guys being mentioned a lot recently is Dalvin Cook. And, they're talking about maybe they release him, maybe they don't trade him, blah, blah, blah. Well, let's figure it out, ladies and gentlemen. So he's got 3 years left on his contract, 28 years old with a $14.1 million cap hit. You see that stuff at the top right. Then you look down here. This is going to be how all of them, if you've ever seen these shows, you know what's going on. If not, you see the 4 bullet points there. Restructure, extend, cut, trade. Under the cut and trade, you have pre and post June 1st. So you see there will be, obviously they're color coded. You can either save money or you'll see the negative money. So this will be for each contract explaining this. So let's take a gander at Dalvin Cook. Now, if they trade him, they would actually save a little bit more than just cutting him right now. And cutting him right now, well, you would only save 5.8 mil and you take on 8.2 in dead money. Not exactly something that I think you want to do. So if you go with a post June 1st designation cut, you would save 9 mil in cap space and they would have only 5 mil in dead money. So that seems for them like a smart route. Now, if you are trying to get some kind of compensation for him, that's when you want to look at the draft. So if you're saying, okay, that 1 mil, 1.2 mil, 1.1 plus mil that I'm going to get post June 1st difference or over the trade, I'd rather have a pick. Well, then that's what you can do. Now, down the road, if you were to trade for him, you can see that, that is going to save them some money. They're going to take on some dead money at 6.2 there. But if you were to trade for him, you could restructure him. You could save 6.2 this year, 5.4 the next year. But there's also an extension. So if you wanted to sign a 28-year or trade for a 28-year-old running back and then extend him, well, you could save 7.5 mil. So it'd only cost you 7 mil against the cap. Next year, you could save 8.7 and then 10 the next year in that third year of his contract. To me, that's paying a lot of money for an older running back. Now, Dalvin Cook is still very, very talented. Love his game, but we just let Miles Sanders walk because we weren't going to pay him. A lot of talk about drafting Bijan Robinson or maybe another running back because of the fact that, well, the Eagles don't look like they want to spend too much money there. So not so sure that Dalvin Cook is the option. Now, if they cut him, maybe you convince him, hey, you want to come win a Super Bowl, sign a really cheap deal. Not sure he's going to want to do that. But look, if you are somebody that wants to trade for him, well, now you know that they can. It's just a matter of, I don't think they will. Now, there's another running back that's been brought up. And to me, this is another guy where, look, a much smaller cap hit here. And he's in the last year of his contract here. $7.75 million cap hit there. He's 28 years old as well. You cannot do anything there to restructure him. But you see, cutting him, they would save 6.2 mil, only take on 1.5 cap or dead money there. And then you see the same for post June 1st. So it wouldn't matter if you really couldn't make a trade happen. If you were to trade him, it's the same exact thing. So the money is all the same there. Can't do anything. If you anybody on their last year of their contract, you're not going to be able to restructure and do anything to. So it's just going to be extensions for those guys. But you would save 4.1 in that area, depending on, what the team would be willing to pay themselves and what you're giving them in guaranteed money. Those numbers can move around a little bit, but you're looking at $3 million cap hit for someone like Austin Ekeler, but you would have to want to lock him up for the future. And hey, maybe that's something they want to do. And, obviously he's going to want to get paid. And I don't feel that the Eagles do that. So that's just kind of where the area I'm at, that they just don't put too much of an emphasis there. It was great having Miles, but they let him walk for a reason. So to me, it's just not one that I think is going to happen. Would not be against it, though. But I'm excited to see what Kenny G has. So for me, I doubt it. Now, this is another wild one that people are throwing at me. DeAndre Hopkins. Why would we want DeAndre Hopkins? Look, he's great. He's a phenomenal receiver, but we literally have A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. I mean, okay, but the dude's 31 years old. He's still got a lot left in the tank. He was one of the better receivers in the game. I do love DeAndre Hopkins, but look at that cap hit, $29.9 million. Holy hell. So if you're the Cardinals, you see, you don't want to cut him pre-June 1st because you're only saving 8.9 and taking on 21 in dead mil, unless you really just can't stand the guy and want to save a little bit while prorating that dead money out over the years, but whatever. But post June 1st, you see only 10.5 mil, 19.4 saved. So if you were to cut him, you could, designate him with a post June 1st cut. So that's maybe something you could do there. Now, you look at trading him, you're seeing that they're taking on a lot of dead money if they're doing that. So they got to pay a big chunk of money. And then, they're going to save a tiny bit there, but that dead money is going to get spread out over a couple years, but that's still going to outweigh what they're saving there. So I don't know, man, tough situation for them. I think the best move would be to cut him with a post June 1st designation if you're going to do anything. Now, you could try to trade him after June 1st if you wanted to, if he's still on the roster, you drafted some people, whatever the hell it may be. But if you're a team that does trade for him, you can restructure, you can extend, and you can save yourself some money there. So you see, if you restructure him, you would save 9.1 mil. The next year, you wouldn't save anything. Then with an extension, you'd save around 14.6 mil. So it'd only cost you around 15.3 there. But next year, you would actually save 10.9 mil, and he has a 25 mil cap hit. So you're looking at a $14 million cap hit next year. So 15 and 14, and you're already going to be wanting to pay Devontae Smith after next year. We locked up A.J. Brown this past season. So for me, these offensive guys that people are asking about, I don't see it happening. And I don't know why we would spend our resources that way. So that's a no for me, but it can happen if you wanted it to happen. So if I get it. Look, when I was younger, I used to love the possibilities, going on to Madden, whenever you're doing. So just know that it can. I just don't think that it does. Now, let's get into the defense because there are a lot of defensive players here, a lot of studs, and I know there have been a lot of questions. Now, Javon Kinlaw was just added to this trading block. And look, Kinlaw, another guy, on that last year of his contract, so no restructure there. But if you see, cutting him is not going to help them at all. That's just going to be dead money. But if they trade him, they can actually save 2.7 mil, only take 2.2 in dead money. Now, if you're the team trading for him, you can extend him. Obviously, with 1 year left, you might want to do that. So that's going to save you some cap space on that 4.9 cap hit. So it's going to cost you about 3.6 mil for a D tackle that is as talented as he is at the age of 26. That is something I would happily do there. So that's very possible. And that's something, they took Javon Hargrave from us. So maybe we could wheel and deal. Howie, go get us a D tackle like Javon Kinlaw. Oh, hell yeah. Very versatile piece. I would be very ecstatic about that one. So yes, to that one, that can happen. And I would be excited about it. Up next, Ed Oliver. This is another stud. Last year of his contract, apparently things aren't going well there in Buffalo. $10.7 million cap hit there. You see, nothing with the restructure, but the same thing as the last guy. You're not going to be saving any money cutting him. So you're looking at all dead money. If you trade him, now in Ed Oliver's case here, you're going to save all of that money, the entire cap hit. If you trade him, you will get that cap saved, no dead money, and the team taking him on can extend him. You can prorate those cap hits. Howie will add on some dummy years. So the guy's looking at a $3 million cap hit, another very cheap defensive stud in the interior there that you could add. And I think Eagles fans would be ecstatic about. And oh, hell yes. Now up next, in the NFC East, there are some rumblings that Chase Young might be on the way out. Things aren't going well there. Last year of his contract, $10.9 million cap hit. You see with him, same deal. If you cut him, not going to help you. If you trade him, you're going to save 5.3 and you're going to take a 5.6 mil dead money cap hit. So you see that you can save some money, at least get something in return for him rather than letting him walk the next year. Or maybe you just hope that things work out for you. I don't know. They'd be crazy to trade him. And I don't think they would trade him to the Philadelphia Eagles, but he's on the block and it could happen. And if you were to make it happen, you could lower that cap hit by giving him that extension and having only a $7.5 million cap hit. So adding someone like him, that's a game changer. But I'm not so sure, because he's going to want a big contract. Not so sure that's the route the Eagles want to go. So maybe they stay in Washington because there's another defensive end that wants to be on the move, and that's Montez Sweat. And you got the same thing going on here where not saving any money if you cut him. So you're going to try to trade him. But the same thing with Ed Oliver. You are saving all of that cap at 11.5 mil goes in your bank. No dead money. Wash your hands clean. Team taking him on. Extend him. You only pay $3.2 million cap hit for a very promising, I would take Sweat and Sweat Co. Let's go. That would be something. Oh, yeah, I would definitely be all for. So you've seen offense. You've seen defensive line so far, ladies and gentlemen. Those all can happen. Only a couple I think I would be those interior guys, oh, hell yeah. Montez Sweat, I don't think so much Chase Young, but very, very excited if those things happened. Those things could happen during the draft, after the draft. So there's no rush on it. I saw that the media picked up on the Jordan Mailata thing. I guess they missed it during the Hurts extension, but we talked about it that day. That was opening up money in the future. You know what I mean? So there's no huge trade that has to happen. That's not why that happened. Those are just things we've been talking about. Howie knows how to open up money. And that's why I try to do these shows all the time so that people aren't confused about why these things are happening. I want to, and the people that take this information from me, I wish they would take what I'm saying too. Cause it's dude, you have to explain to these people how it works, and it just gets nuts. But hey, we're making progress, right? People are starting to talk about the cap at least with some understanding. So thank the Lord. But let's get into the top 5 here. I've got a few linebackers, and then I've got a couple safeties. And I think, obviously, we lost both of our starting linebackers, both of our starting safeties. So put the most emphasis on these ones and wanted to finish the show off with these guys. But if you have any questions, any thoughts on this stuff so far, please feel free to leave it down below. Always down to talk some birds with you, ladies and gentlemen. Trying to push your channel out. Yo, I appreciate that, my man. And look, the more people that join, the more this thing keeps growing and the closer we get to working for those Philadelphia Eagles, baby. Let's go. But I appreciate you, man. I appreciate all of you who are helping, hitting that like button, retweeting, sharing this thing all over the groups and doing everything. I can't thank you guys enough. Love when you guys are tagging me and stuff. I got your back. Anybody trying to tell you how the cap works, just tag me. I got you. So appreciate each and every one of you. My man, Keon, appreciate you tuning in, my dude. Hope you're doing well. I am here talking numbers. If you missed the beginning of the show, got lots of information about the Eagles' updated cap space, our draft picks, the draft pick cap hits, all that stuff, the notable cap hits, hurts, everybody. Go check that out if you all right. Well, once you're done here, I would love to hear your thoughts, but let's keep the train rolling with the top 5 guys I've got here. And we're going to hit it off with Devin White here because I know everybody wants to talk about this dude. And look, I'm a fan of him, only 25 years old in the final year of his contract, $11.7 million cap hit. So we're looking here. The Buccaneers are not going to cut him all dead money there. If they trade him, clean slate right there. They save all of that cap. So a good move for them would be to trade him. Now, the team trading for him could extend him, save $8.5 million. You're only looking at $3.2 million cap hit this season. Prorate those other cap hits out because you're going to have to give him a big contract. Now, the question is, do you want to pay a guy that wants to be paid as one of the top linebackers? I don't think the Eagles are going to want to do that. Now, I would love to have Devin White. If you could talk him down and convince him to come play for a Super Bowl caliber team, maybe he takes a pay cut. But some of these guys would, prefer to have the money over the winning. And hey, it's their life. Let them live it how they please. But yeah, I don't know if that's going to work out as much. So there's a couple linebackers that we talked about a couple of weeks ago. Let's bring them up here now. Kenneth Murray being one of them at 24 years old with a $4.1 million cap hit, 1 year remaining on his contract. You see here, if they cut him, they actually could save $2.3 million, whether that's pre or post June 1st. And then you see they would take on $1.7 million in dead money. But it's the same exact thing if you were to trade him. So really, at the end of the day, you would want to trade him because you want to get something in return. You don't want to just cut them. But if you can't find anything, you could just let him go, save yourself a little bit of cash. But the team trading for him could extend him, save themselves a little bit over $1 million there in cap space, only pay $3 million for a still very young linebacker who still has some promise. But if we're talking about young linebackers with promise, I'm going with my man Patrick Queen here, at the age of 23 years old with a $3.8 million cap hit. You see here, they cut him, not really saving much money. You're taking on 3.5 dead money, and then you see only $318,409 in cap saved. So you're probably going to want to trade him where you will save 2.2 mil, only take on 1.6 in dead money. The team trading for him can extend him, save that $1 million. So you're only spending about 2.8 mil this year. Now, again, going to have to give these guys money, but I always laugh when I hear this stuff because people are like, oh, well, you have to pay them. And it's like, yeah, but you see, the thing is you want to get good players and pay them. Remember last year when I was talking about how we could trade for A.J. Brown, people are like, yeah, why would we do that? It's like, well, you got to trade for him and pay him. It's like, yeah, but you want to actually pay some good players. Now, clearly, you want to have some young players to build around that in certain areas where you don't want to spend a lot of money, but these are prime positions, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm just saying, maybe the Eagles don't put much of an emphasis, but if you're looking at a guy like Patrick Queen or Kenneth Murray, maybe they take a lower cap hit. So just saying, just throwing it out there. Now we're going to get into the top 2, and these are 2 safeties. Now, Kevin Byard, I want to start it off with because I know that's a name a lot of people like, Philly native. So, of course, people are going to like him. But 2 years left on his contract with a massive $19.6 million cap hit at the age of 29 here. So if they cut him pre-June 1st, not a good move. 5.9 saved, 13.6 in dead money. Post June 1st, you could save 14 mil, only take on 5.5 in dead money. Now, that would be a move they could make. Now, if you see the trade scenario, why would they want to do that? Pre-June 1st, that's really not going to help you unless you're getting a really nice haul, and that's something you're going to have to discuss, obviously, in the trade negotiations. Like, look, man, we're paying 13.6 mil in dead money. You're taking, if you're going to extend him, you're only paying 10, blah, 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 whatever it may be, but it's not going to be so beneficial for them. But if things aren't going well for them after post June 1st, they want to try to trade him, get something for him. They could try to do that, and you could trade for him, and then you could extend him. And you could, this is one of those different contracts where it's not just 1 year remaining. We only had a few of those, a couple in the beginning with Cook and Hopkins. But you see here with Kevin Byard, he's got 2 years left on his contract. So talked about the cutting and trading. If you restructure him, you could save that 9.3 mil this year, 8.2 the next. And then you have some dead money after that with some dummy years. Now with that extension, you save 9.9 this year, 9.9 the next year, and then the same thing with the dead money in those dummy years. So you could do that, but that's a lot of freaking money to be paying for, a guy that is clearly 29 years old. He's got a lot left in his game, but he's a little bit older. So not sure that's the route I want to go. But when you're talking about, trading for someone, it's going to cost you a little bit more with your draft picks. But this is the number one guy here, ladies and gentlemen, Budda Baker. And they've been trying to tell you for the last couple of weeks. And, I've been doing my best to combat it. The Eagles can't trade for him. I wish these people would really learn about the cap before they started talking about it. But hey, it is what it is. So here we are. And this is another guy with 2 years left on his contract at the age of 27, $16.8 million cap hit. You see down below, if you cut him, you're going to save 9.3, take on 7.5 in dead money. Post June 1st cut, you'll actually save 13 mil, only 3.7 in dead money. So that could be a route for them to go, a post June 1st designation cut. Now, if you were trying to get something in return, you think you can get a third, maybe it's a fourth, maybe hell, you could even get a second just because, you'll take on some money to pay, whatever it may be. You see, pre-June 1st, it's the same with the cutting. Then post June 1st, it's the same thing. So maybe you hold out, but don't think you can because the team's going to want him now. And if that team does get him, you can always restructure him. So, ladies and gentlemen, you can save that 6 mil on a restructure. You're not going to save anything next year with that restructure. With an extension, you'll save 9.6 mil this season and 10.4 next season. And he costs 17.9 next season. So that's actually $7.5 million cap hit next year. Whereas if you're taking off that 9.6 here, you got 7.2 this year. So not bad for one of the top safeties in the game. And it's going to be a very important position, both linebacker and safety for the Eagles. So imagine, you trade for Budda Baker and a Patrick Queen. I mean, you're getting some studs right there. You can make things work. You lock them up. I'd be all for it, ladies and gentlemen. But that's all I've got for you. That was the top 12 potential big names that the Eagles could trade for. Breaking down everything I possibly could about their contracts. And then, of course, looking at the Eagles' current and future draft picks, those draft pick cap hits, the notable cap hits, and the estimated cap space. If you missed any of that stuff, go check it out at the beginning. Would love to hear your thoughts on all this stuff. But, ladies and gentlemen, holy hell, there is a lot of names out there. Queen is still so young. Yo, how about it, Randy? I really think that there are some really great possibilities, as much as some of them are like, what, dude? What are you talking about? I just think that, for me, there's just a lot of great options, and it's laughable every time I hear one of those media people or content creators try to say like, oh, we can't, and then they show something from the cap, and it's like, bro, do you even know what you're looking at? And I tell them, just tag me, I'll help you, but they would prefer to just try to take my stuff and look like me, and it's like, God damn it, help us all. But yo, appreciate you, my man. And we need a lot of help, but that's what that draft series is for. But we can also trade for some guys. Hopefully, you've all been catching up with those draft series shows. Got the quarterback, running back, receiver, tight end, O-line, D-line, the edge rushers, interior guys. We've got the linebackers out, so go check that out. Special teams is out. I will have the cornerbacks for you tomorrow. Then we'll have Fan Friday and Saturday. We are finishing it up with the safety, so let's go. But I hope you're enjoying all of that content. Yo, appreciate you, my man, JC, Joseph, Randy, Keon, every single one of you. Drew, I know you were in here in the beginning. Raymond, my man, William. Really cannot thank each and every one of you enough. And everybody else, whether or not you said something, if you're in here, cannot thank you enough for taking the time. Yo, appreciate you, my dude. Yo, Hulk. Yo, let's go. Hey, appreciate you, dude. Doing my best to give you guys the best content I possibly can, hoping that you enjoy it. Hopefully this makes you a lot more educated on how the cap works. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask down below. I will happily, you can tag me in someone's post, whatever it may be. You need some help with something, you can use this video, post it wherever. do not mind. I love you guys getting the correct information out there so we can make this the smartest fan base, not only the greatest fan base in the effing world. So I appreciate you guys. Hope you're all going to have a great day. I have a lot going on tonight, so I'm not going to be able to drop that cornerback video, but tomorrow I will drop that. And then if anything happens, of course, I will be live. But, Budda would be perfect. And it's laughable that people say we can't trade for him because I'm literally showing you exactly how we easily can trade for him. So if you hear somebody saying it, that's cool. If you see somebody finally figuring all this stuff out, you can tag me and tell them to thank me as well. So I appreciate each and every one of you. And you guys have been doing that. And I can't. Somebody made a post like 5 minutes after I did today saying the same thing. And somebody tagged me, dude. It was hilarious. They're like, Jimmy Smith already told us. I was dying. Thank you for calling these people out. You see it, man. You see it, right? So I'm going to keep educating. They're going to keep hating. And then a week later, they'll start repeating what I've said. So let's keep teaching them about that cap, ladies and gentlemen. But I can't do it without you. So thank you for hitting that like button, subscribing, retweeting this, sharing it, whatever the hell you're doing. Thank you so much. I love each and every one of you. Thank you for giving me the ideas for all these great, dude, this content has been nuts this offseason already. Losing my mind here. So hope you've enjoyed it. But if you have any questions, anything, feel free to reach out. Until next time, I am Jimmy Smith, and this is On the Road to Victory. You all go out there, enjoy that nice weather, stay safe out there, and as always, say it with me, go Birds!